You are listening to Downright Sports with Notorious Sports Critic Brent Reid.
Here we go. Welcome everybody. This is a special March Madness show. We're going to do each Sunday after each round is over, leading to the Final Four. This is Downright Sports March Madness Recap. I'm your host, Brent Reid, the Notorious Sports Critic. Tired. Tired, okay? Really tired. So, little inside baseball before we get into all the pleasantries. I was under the impression, because I feel like in years past, the games were done by like 6 o'clock. Like they would start early and they would be done by 6, especially being on like 700 different channels. But I guess I was wrong. So anyway, welcome to the Downright Sports March Madness Recap. I'm your host, Brent Reid, the Notorious Sports Critic, and we're going to get right into it. So the first weekend is done. First official weekend is over. The 2022 college basketball, men's college basketball tournament. And we're going to get into the games and the games I picked to talk about the most. But first and foremost, it's bracket time. So I did a Downright Sports celebrity bracket. The celebrities were people I know, friends, family, everyone I know. Thank you for those who participated. Some of the key participants is my man Corey, representing Randolph College. Corey currently right now, and I gotta get an update actually because I keep using the wrong mouse. I gotta get an actual update because now there has been some changes. Anyway, so we have my man Corey, and my man Uncle Buddha, Tim Woodson. We also had my man Noah Baker doing his thing, coming through, picking. We also have my man P. Stu, and then my lady and my fiance Allie has done a bracket, and my mother has a bracket out there, but I have to find it because somehow she didn't join the group. She just made a bracket. In any case, so the standings as such may have changed. If I grab the wrong mouse one more time, the standings as such. So let's get to the group. Can I get into the group? Kick it. There we go. So as games have become official, games are in the books. Currently right now, standing in first place now at 98% is my man Corey, we're going to break down his bracket in a second. Noah B has dethroned me from second place, and he jumped up because he is now at 76% of his bracket. I have fell to third place at 61%. Tim, despite his team that he picked to win, Tim is out. He is 44%. P. Stu has fallen to about 24% of his bracket, and Allie is bringing up the rear. She's tied with Peace too, so she may not finish last. All right. Funny enough, they're still in it. So when we wrap the show up, we'll go over their brackets and where they stand and go from there. So the games as such have happened, and this past weekend, the tournament started on Thursday. And then if we take a look at how it broke down, we'll just use mine because it's easier. Where is mine? Actually, let's just use the paper. So this past weekend, some of the upsets that we ran into, all right? So Memphis found a way to beat Boise State. I kind of knew that was going to happen. Memphis went on. They gave Gonzaga as much as they could before Gonzaga pulled away and took care of business. Then you had Tennessee let's get to it. So we're going to do the round of 64 before we jump around. All right, we'll do the round of 64. And so then we would see Kentucky. I don't know if anybody was as shocked to see Kentucky lose to Saint Peters, who's still playing, by the way. And we know Kentucky's going to have NBA caliber talent, but when they lost, it wasn't like, oh my God, Kentucky lost. It was just, oh, Kentucky lost. And the title of this episode and the theme of this episode is talent versus will. If you've been watching the tournament, you'll see a lot of talent out there, but the talent is not running away in the tournament. And we're going to come back to that as we touch on some of these games, but the best players not necessarily are the best team. You know what I mean? And in the case of when you see a team like Saint Peters with veteran players, meaning sophomores, juniors, seniors, guys who've been together 3-4 years, versus a Kentucky team where basically they're just microwave players. You go in the freezer, you pull them out, you put them in the microwave, they heat up, and then eventually they cool down, and they don't have that same savory taste as something that you've taken time to prepare. See how I use that? Another upset. Where are the upsets? I didn't think Michigan beating Colorado State was an upset. I figured Michigan was going to be better. I didn't think that team played anyone to warrant. Michigan went through the battles of playing in the Big Ten, so I couldn't really see that. You had Iowa falling to Richmond. That was a big one. And again, Iowa, that is big, and that's big for Richmond. It's big for the Atlantic 10. Richmond moved on. Iowa State beat No. Yeah. Iowa State beat LSU. LSU didn't have a head coach. They literally just fired their head coach. One that I thought was interesting, you saw Miami beat USC. And that is not an upset, I think, in a sense, because Miami has a very good head coach, a head coach who took George Mason to the Final Four many moons ago. Miami plays in the ACC where they have to face UNC, they have to face Duke, they have to face so many teams that are getting guys ready for the NBA. So in the case of Miami versus USC, I you know what's crazy? I had USC picked to win, but I'm not surprised because Miami's playing on a different gear, which when we go to the round of 32, we'll touch on that. Speaking of the round of 32, the next big upset after that, you would have to deem Baylor falling to North Carolina. I don't see it as an upset because North Carolina is better than what people think. If you go back and watch North Carolina play, yes, North Carolina did get whooped by Virginia Tech, but I think Virginia Tech was just playing on a different cylinder. They wanted to make the tournament. North Carolina has the players. They have the tools. They have the talent. I felt that the North Carolina game and now the Arizona TCU game are the two games of this tournament so far. Most of the other games, like Gonzaga and Memphis, was a good game, but games that just had you on the edge of your seat watching, it was like a fight. The UNC Baylor game, let's tell the story of that game, okay? At one point, North Carolina was destroying Baylor by 25 points. All right? And then Baylor, so this sums up. If we go straight into the second half where everything just gets started. In the second half, UNC, no one had scored from the 20-minute mark into the 18:04 mark, and then the score was 44-31. Then going into the 12:28 mark, UNC led 61-38. I was watching this game at work, and we said to ourselves, this game is over. This game is done. All right? At the 6:39 mark, now UNC leads 71-58, and you're starting to see where Baylor is trying something. So at this moment in the game, Baylor's changed their defense. They're giving North Carolina a full court press. They're not trapping with this press, but they're going full court man to man, picking the guy up at the other end of the court, and they're tiring UNC out. Ultimately, one of UNC's more key players, Mencken, it gets flagrant. His elbow went up too high. He got a flagrant 2 out the game. That's big for North Carolina in this game because with him on the court, North Carolina would have put Baylor away because he's one of their best shooters out there. Fearless, bad head of hair, bad beard. Looks like if North Carolina stopped recruiting high school kids and started recruiting guys who lived under the bridge. That's exactly what he looks like, but he's out the game now. Now, let's move on. Last score, North Carolina at the 425-28 mark, UNC 73-62. And then, out of nowhere, by the at the 148 mark, score being 67-72, to get there, Baylor had went. Baylor, between the 428 mark and the 148 mark, Baylor went on a 10-3 run. 10-3 run, and then in the last 15 seconds of the game, they end up tying the game for the first time since opening tip-off. And then in overtime, North Carolina was able to put them away. That game was sloppy. That game was messy. That game was ugly. North Carolina got big points out of R.G. Davis with 30 points in that game. He was also able to put up 5 rebounds, but it was Mccoy who got 16 rebounds. And here's what tells the story, and this goes back to my first statement. Talent versus will. Baylor had the talent to defend the champions, but I think North Carolina just had the will. Check this out. North Carolina in this game, 20 for 57, shot 49% from the field goal. They shot 44% from the three. They also finished with 47 rebounds for the entire game with also 22 assists. All right. If you look at Baylor, 28 for 81 from the field, 34%, 24% from threes. They couldn't hit a three to save their life. 38 rebounds. They just lost the rebounds battle, which is always going to be critical in these type of games. And they only had 11 assists. They kind of fell into the low of, hey, we can just play one-on-one ball, and that ain't going to get it done. That's just going to leave you out there stranded on the island. Talent versus will. In the case, North Carolina was the will. The other game in the round of 32, my hands are ashy. I hate my hands. They're so ashy. In the round of 32, you would have the matchup of Miami and Auburn, which I think is an upset, even though Auburn does not. They take it off, and they chose now in all games to take off, where they should have came to play a little stronger. And if we go back, wrong mouse again. If we go back to when they played in the first round, Auburn played Jacksonville State. They got a bye. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect Jacksonville State, but they got a bye. You know what I mean? And then they came to play a Miami team that was in a fight. And in the case of these type of games, you have one team that was in a fight in their first game. They tooled. They're ready to go. They've seen the battles. They've seen the scars. They got hit. They got kicked. They got pushed. Their food. They've already tasted nasty food. Nothing can hurt them. So when Miami in the Miami game, Miami wins, and they ran away with it. It was never close. I watched that game. I think my Uncle Timmy texted me, and that's what made me, oh, that game is on. And because I was enthralled in, I think I was really into the Notre Dame Texas Tech game. But I turned on the Miami game. I'm taking a look. Miami wins 79-61. Miami 32-66 from the field, 48% from the field. Not as big of a margin as the Baylor North Carolina game, but if you look at Auburn, 21 for 69 from the field, 30% from the field. Neither team were good from threes. Neither team. Miami 3 for 15. Auburn 5 for 26. Auburn actually won the rebound battle, but here's how Auburn loses. Turnovers. Auburn had 13 turnovers. Out of those turnovers, Miami was able to take 10 steals. 10 steals. They just basically was taking the ball. Miami giving Auburn the pressure. If you watch how Auburn was trying to play against Miami, Auburn they couldn't figure out what to do offensively against Miami's defense, which is sad. Like, this was one of the better teams of the year, and they just couldn't get it done. Like, they for lack of a better word, they stunk up the joint. This is bad for Bruce Pearl because Bruce Pearl in the past has always had good teams, but he just can't get it done. He can't get them over the hump. And for a coach that has so much, it's notorious, but so notorious for being in the bad place at the wrong time. Tennessee, now Auburn, having bad things follow him, bad juju, having clouds hang over his head. Your team's not performing, bruh. Like, This was the number 1 team in America. They didn't win the ACC championship. They did not, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they didn't win the ACC championship. And they find themselves in a situation where now, they're done. They're out. There is no tomorrow. So what does Bruce Pearl do next year? Like, your reputation is of one, a coach that, hey, yeah, you can get us to the dance, but you can't get us a championship. In the SEC, championships matter. The SEC wants champions. Kentucky is always a year away from a championship. And this year, the SEC was one of the best schools as far as being a team that had people thinking, oh, well, is this the best conference? Or is it the Big Ten? Or is it the ACC? This year clearly was the SEC. They had a lot of teams get in. But the SEC wants to be the powerhouse of all collegiate sports, obviously. And if Bruce Pearl can find a way to at least get his team to the Final Four or the Sweet 16, because if you pay attention, they don't hang banners for the round of 32. They hang banners for Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, Final Fours. Final Four, you're good company. The round of 32, everybody makes it to the round of 32. So I suggest that he figures out a way to get it done. Like, I really do. Like, I really suggest he tears down whatever he does, because if he's going for the quick, he's not the type of coach. He's not a Coach K. It was Tennessee who won the chip. He's not a Coach K. Coach K can take a one-and-done player, turn them into champions. He's not that guy. He needs to build a program. Keep yourself in the conversation, but keep building 3-4 year guys, and now you're, looking at a championship. Just win one, and then they leave you alone. That's pretty much how that goes. All right? So, Auburn is out. All right? So, if you had Auburn in your Final Four, bye-bye. All right? Villanova is still alive. Villanova was able to knock off the Ohio State, who I actually had picked. So now we're going to have Villanova and Michigan. Michigan winning for Juwan Howard, who ended his season so ugly, so ugly. For him to beat Colorado State in the first round, then go ahead and beat Tennessee, a team that so many thought, oh, this is the team we should they're going to the Final Four. And he knocks them out and puts himself in the Sweet 16. He now keeps his job. That's number one. Number two, he now puts himself in the conversation. Oh, the guy can coach. Regular season, he's going to have to get it done because this could be fluke. Sometimes teams get hot. In a tournament, teams can get hot. So right now, is your team hot? Or are you good? And if you're good, then that changes everything. I thought it wasn't bright. I really was like, I'm feeling not so spotlight-ish. I was like, I'm missing the light here. What is going on? Any case, so you're going to have Michigan and Vanderbilt. And in the case of these two teams, jumping the gun. Now, the game that had everybody in America biting their fingernails, including me, was the game we just witnessed, Arizona and TCU, where we just saw a TCU team take on an Arizona team in which I really like. I like the type of team and the type of players they have out there. Here's my notes. But TCU, it's a shame that they had to go because they gave Arizona everything under the sun. They fought them tooth and nail. They just clawed and scratched. So if you look at how this game breaks down, as I go back because I started one of the sidetracks. So the game ended 85-80, went into overtime. TCU was controlling it, and then my second new favorite player next to Kalinko. Kalinko is my current favorite player, but then you had the Pac-12 Player of the Year, Benjamin McGrath. Yeah, I think I said his name right. Benjamin McGrath, something like that. Benjamin Mahaffrey, or Benjamin Cumberbatch, as I like to call him. He had a huge 3-pointer to tie the game, and then so there was a situation in overtime where they kept trying to get Kerr to hit a three. Kerr wasn't hitting his three. They smacked the ball back. Benjamin was able to get the rebound and get the and one, and that was all that needed to be said. But TCU, you got to see a guy show out. We're not going to, TCU lost, but Eddie Lemke, who has the name from a Bad Boys movie, it sounds like a villain from a Bad Boys movie, he showed out. And, tonight, he had 14 rebounds. He finished with 20 points, a career high for him. He played his heart out. Big man basketball was played tonight in the Pac-12 when you had Eddie Lemke, and then you also had Christian Kalenko. I said his name right earlier, and I messed it up. Kalenko, who had 28 points, 12 rebounds. He actually started the game out in the first half. He had like 12 in the first half. He was balling. They couldn't stop him. They figured out how to slow him down after a while, but you don't watch this team and think they don't have what it takes to win. I had a stat somewhere of a team that just cracked the bed on it. Somebody's benched in the score earlier, and I can't remember who I wrote down. I sure can. Yes, I did. I got it right here. So we got to talk Jayhawks. Is that what we're going to talk about? Yeah, we're going to talk Jayhawks. We'll get back to that in a second. But anyway, we saw Arizona. They did what they had to do. Arizona has I know people try to say like they haven't seen them play. Arizona has two big men in the post that control the game. The second big man didn't play as tough tonight, but Arizona's going to move on. They're going to face a Houston team that just beat Illinois and took care of business, and that Houston team. But I'm going to tell you right now, I can't see anybody beating this Arizona team. Man, this Arizona team took everything TCU had. This TCU team tried to guard them every which way from Sunday. They tried to play them defensively every which way they could possibly imagine, and they were not able to stop them. They were not able to take away from Arizona. And Arizona doesn't play. They can run, but they don't play that like, hey, we'll just settle for the three. They look for opportunity. They look for the open man. They look for the next man. But they have what you need to win in the national championship is a big man 1-2 punch, and they have that. So next week we will have Arizona at first in Houston in San Antonio. Houston's going to be the home team, no question there. All right, no question there. All right. And Kansas had a small scare. All right, Kansas played Creighton, and Creighton for some reason they get the memo that Kansas is one of the best teams in the nation. But believe it or not, as close as that game looked, it wasn't a situation where I think Kansas was just going to lose. So if you're looking at the box score, God, my hand's so dry. If you're looking at the box score and you think, oh wait, hold on. Just realized something. Hold on. It's hard to keep talking. I gotta grab all these papers. And then, sorry, Money Penny. It's hard to keep talking. I gotta grab all these papers and my hands feel like sawdust, man. It's a terrible feeling. That lotion. You can hear it on the radio, can't you? I'm not lighting a fire, guys. That's just me being ashy. Anyway. Kansas and Creighton they just had a close game. If you take a look here, my notes, the Jayhawks was in a fight. After the first quarter, they led. After the first half, they had a 1-point lead. Clemson was in for a good fight, but that's all. Kaloon, the forward from Clemson, 24 points, 12 rebounds. He was the driving force for Creighton. Here's why Creighton lost. 0 players scored on the bench. You can't have 0 players scoring, not scoring. Nobody came off the bench able to score for them. That's half the reason why they lost the game, because they just didn't have that extra They didn't have that extra all right, when you just take the starters out, somebody out there is able to pick up the pieces. If you take a look at Kansas, they just won as a group. Nobody pulled away except for one person. We'll get to that in a second. Wilson, the forward, 14 points, 14 rebounds. Big game. There's a theme here. Pay attention. Braun, guard, 13 points, 8 rebounds. Abaje, 15 points, 8 rebounds. They just controlled the boards. Rebounds. They just controlled the boards there. Between 3 players, between three players. Kansas basically had 30 rebounds from just three players by themselves. Like, that's impressive. And then you throw in my man, you don't have to go to the ABC. You don't need to go to the liquor store to see him. Remy Martin was able to drop in 29 minutes, 20 points off the bench, 7 rebounds, 37 rebounds between 4 players, including him. And then when you have a senior like Remy Martin coming off the bench, dropping 20 points, he literally outscored the entire Creighton bench. Like, that's insane. So that's what Kansas has a type of team that you have to be scared. I picked Arizona, but if you pick Kansas, you should feel confident in your pick, because this is a team you don't want to sniff at. You do not, I repeat, you do not want to overlook. You had a situation where Notre Dame looked like they were going to take it, but at the end of the day, Notre Dame wasn't able to get it done. So, all right, so Auburn out. North Carolina, are they the dark horse? Is North Carolina the team that everybody should start worrying about? Well, we'll discuss it, because next week is the Sweet 16, and then start kicking things off. So the Sweet 16 preview and breakdown, you got Gonzaga taking on Arkansas. That's going to be a huge game for both. Arkansas has played a lot of good teams this year. Arkansas is one of the better, and was a very good, one of the teams that came out the SEC that is good, ready to play. The team is strong and solid. And then if you're a Gonzaga, the team is a perennial, always in it. Every year you can set your watch to it. Gonzaga's making the tournament as they play each and every year. It was not a cakewalk for Arkansas. They played a very good New Mexico team, winning 53-48. Gonzaga is happy that they don't have to play again until the 24th, because they faced a Memphis team that gave them everything that they had in store. So you're going to have those two teams face off. Gonzaga, the overall number 1 in the whole nation. Then you get Duke versus Texas Tech. That is a big game, big matchup. Texas Tech played Notre Dame tough. Texas Tech has some seniors, and you have a Duke team that came away from playing a Michigan State team that was well coached, but that Michigan State team is probably the least star-studded Michigan State team we've seen in a long time. So Duke is going to play a Texas Tech team that is not afraid that this Duke Blue Devils, a Texas Tech team that's coming out of the Pac-12, and they're not going to fear Duke at all. They gave they now tasted the blood of the ACC beating Notre Dame. So we'll see those two teams face off next week. You know I'm a Duke fan, so I'll be pulling for Duke. And then in the bottom, in the East bracket, you'll have North Carolina. Stand up, take your shirt off, twist it around your head, spin it like a hilt. Sorry. You have North Carolina. They're going to take on UCLA, the battle of the blue bloods, if you will. UCLA is better than what they think. I saw UCLA play Arizona in the Pac-12, in the Pac-10 championship. They gave Arizona everything. Arizona pulled away at the last minute, but you're going to have North Carolina, two teams that are trying to prove that they're not the pushovers of their conferences. So looking forward there. And then you'll have in the bottom, after that, you're going to have Saint Peters of New Jersey. I believe Saint Peters is of New Jersey. They're the little darling. Well, are they the darling this year, or are there no darlings this year? Because everybody's a darling. Everybody's a darling. Everybody's a Cinderella. So they're going to face Purdue. Purdue is good. I think this is where St. Peter's run comes to a halt. They played if you think about it, St. Peter's played Kentucky. Kentucky's full of just talented kids with no experience. The next team that they faced is Murray State. That's a veteran-like team. They beat them by 10. But now St. Peter's is going to face a real school. They're facing Purdue, who is good this year, gave the Pac-10, basically just gave the Pac-10 a run for its money. So we're looking at a tough one, if you will. I think you need to, if you're a betting person, I would take St. Peter's so you can try to win the money. but it's probably a sucker's bet. So I would bet my bottom. I'm not going to make any picks who probably wins this, but in my bracket, in that part of the bracket, who I picked is out. All right, if we go to the other side, we go to the south side, we're going to get Arizona and Houston. I got Arizona. Come on, get out of here. Then we're going to have Michigan and Villanova. I picked Ohio State. They're out. So this could be the Michigan team or Villanova and Jay Wright just, steamrolls those guys. I know everybody looks down on the Big East, but the Big East comes to play. And then we're going to have Kansas and Providence. Another Big East school is still in it. And everybody poo-pooed. The Big East is a basketball conference, but Kansas is big in them. And then finally, we're going to have Wisconsin lost, isn't it? I'm pretty sure Wisconsin lost. Yeah, we're going to have Iowa State and Miami. I didn't update the bracket on here. But we're going to have Iowa State and Miami. I think Miami wins this. I think Miami finds himself in the Elite Eight. How about that? You're going to have Miami in Elite Eight. So let's go. So, all right. So that's it. Next week, we'll be back with another recap show. I am tired. I can't. I'm tired. I need a break. Let's do an update on the brackets of the Downright Sports Celebrity Tournament, where next week I announce what the prize is. Believe it or not, I will have a prize, and then I'll tell a story on bets. So, Kurt, with the front door, I want to say the crowd, but I want to say my bracket. All right, here we go. So, leading the way at 98% currently right now. Let me enlarge that a little bit. Leading the way at 98%, my man Corey, representing the KJ Hawks. Easy name, I guess. He has 460 total points. My man Noah B, NB747, has taken the second place at 77.6%. Me at 61.7%. I'm a little upset because I wasn't tired of leading. Lollipop 1, Tim is crazy. 44.5%. He's still in it to win it. Believe that. P. Stu 1987, 24%. He dropped a lot. He was up in the top 3. He dropped. And my girl, Miss Allie Lane, at 24% tied with him. And she's still in it. Her team is still in it. She's got Kansas picked to win. So, and everybody's final 4 is 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4. So nobody's final 4 has been broken up yet. So it's still close. I know what the percentage say, but it's still much closer than what we all think. So, hey, good luck, everybody. So anyway, thank you for listening to this pop-up. Obviously, the podcast is available everywhere. Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, Radio Public, Anchor. You can download it tomorrow morning. You can listen to this episode as it airs on DJ Chase Radio. He'll have it just playing frequently throughout the day. New episodes of Downright Sports are back this Wednesday on DJ Chase Radio, and then Thursday at 8 o'clock at night on DynastyRadioNY.com. This Saturday at 8 a.m. on Fab 94.5, The Hits, and then at 3 o'clock on Trap Radar Radio. You can also check us out at TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can email the show at downrightsports11@gmail.com. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys. If you're watching on Facebook Live, thank you. You can watch on YouTube Live this Tuesday at 9 o'clock. We'll be back all new. All right, everybody. As always, be safe. Deuces.